quickly just trying to set stuff up here before we start getting in on this. Let me make sure everything's set. Do 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 do. All right, checking everything. Let's see. Chats. Nope, I need to. Web chat on, chat filter, all messages. Thank you. All right, let's get this show on the road. Hey, what's up, Nordic? What up, what up? Hey, what's up, Nordic? What up, what up? Alright, let's see what all I gotta do here. What do I feel like painting today on live stream? The tiger's just about done. So, I don't know how well that's showing up on the camera there. I'm terribly sorry for the horrible audio. Let me try and find my headphones, and I might be able to work this out. Well, good morning. Some feedback through speakers. Oh, it's no headphones yet. Yeah, that tracks. All right, 1 second. All right, I have returned. I am terribly sorry about that. Let me turn on my Bluetooth so I can plug in the headphones. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I turned down the tablet volume because I'm using my tablet to try and babysit the chats. So. Just having the phone over there is not really helpful when I'm looking this way. So, don't get me wrong, I'd love to try and do a POV type shot, but I find that the phone gets in the way. So, I figure I'll show this off for a minute for anybody who's interested. So this King Tiger is just about done. I am just doing some of the details. Let me find the turntable controls. There we go. Whoa, way too fast. Let's slow that down. No, not the other way. What are you doing? Okay. Okay, hang on. That's better. Yeah, I've thought about doing that. It's just I'd have to bring the laptop in, run a boatload of cables, and this place is already crowded as it is. It's like, in all honesty, we are in the laundry room. For those of you who did not know, I'm double using space. Like, this is not a dedicated room. I wish it was. Hopefully in a couple months I can dedicate a room specifically to building and painting stuff. But I hope all of you are doing well today. Let me check my chat settings because I want to make sure that I can see all messages just in case. Because I'm seeing 15 people already in here. Holy cow. I see 10 on the camera device though. Thank you guys for all coming in and supporting. Had a bite on the music setup sale. Oh, yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good. You know, like right now, I kid you not, my washer is right behind me. And the dryer is just over there. So, having to double use the space. But, yeah, I'm thinking about working on a few things today. A coworker of mine generously donated some stuff to the channel, and I'm thinking about painting up this mini. So it's a Sisters of Battle, and the name eludes me at the moment. It's like Morven Val or Morven Vale. But his wife had started painting it, and I like the paint scheme idea. The green and gold, fantastic. I love the Celtic touch to it, and so I'm gonna run with that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same paint scheme to keep it the same way, because honestly, I think that looks fantastic as a concept. And I'm just gonna go ahead and take it and crank the volume to 11, break off the knob, and run with it. At least that's the plan. So, what are we thinking of that? Hi, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Attack of the Grey Pile. We are live streaming from the cave today. Yeah, feel free to say hi. Don't be a stranger. I don't bite. You can say hi. I'll say hi back. If you have any questions about model kits or music, anything like that, by all means, throw them out there. I'd be more than happy to answer questions within reason. So, hope everybody's doing well today. So, where's everybody coming from? Anybody want to drop a hey, I'm from such and such state, or I'm from such and such country? Feel free to pop in and say hey from the four corners, Love to hear that. So, let's see. Now, some of you just tuning in may not understand why there's a tank on a turntable in front of me. This has been an ongoing project for the channel, and I have a playlist on this thing, and it is just about done. And yes, please join the Discord. Please do. It's 100% free. We talk games, minis, we share hobbies on there, not just painting, but like music and computer related stuff. So like it's all welcoming and all encompassing. So please feel free to join us. I have a link to the Discord server on the channel page. You are more than welcome to join. Just please read the rules. They're very basic. Just, hey, no dissing anybody. Just try and keep it a politically neutral sphere to the best of our abilities, because there's enough politics being talked about on the day-to-day. We don't need to be talking about it during our downtime, right? Whole world's burning. We just want to hang out and paint stuff, right? So, I hope y'all are doing well. So, I think what I'm going to be doing for today's live stream is I'm going to be working on this Morven Vale. Alright, come on. Come on. Just talk plastic. Yep. Plastic, video games, and other expensive hobbies that we like or would like to get into. So, models, paint, fun. This KBA, yep, 100%. Sorry for all the ruckus over here. I'm just trying to make sense of the gray pile, if you will. It's attacking me. So sometimes you gotta fight back. I'm gonna go ahead and put that over there. Probably turn off the turntable before. No. Turn off. There we go. Okay. All right. There we go. We'll go ahead and put that there. Grim, how'd you get in here, bud? I swear this cat. Sometimes he has 2 brain cells fighting for 3rd place, and sometimes he surprises me with how he manages to do things successfully, oddly enough. So. Oh, yeah? Yeah, I bet that pre-order was expensive. So, let's see. Got to figure out how I want to go about painting this one. Because I got a couple of ideas. Now I got to make those concepts. Practice. Yeah, I don't think that's going to stretch wide enough. Nah, nope. Go for the big base. The big handle. There. All right. All right, let's see. I'm trying to get an idea of how I want to attack this. Let's see. Dang on, we went from like 16 viewers to 3. Hey, what's Chemo? What's up, Chemo Gibson? How are you? Let's see. Need to put those there for now. Hey, what's up, Christine? How are you? Let's see. Because I'm kind of debating on how I want to try and. I don't want to say save it because it's not like it's bad. It's just I'm gonna try and figure out how I want to go about attacking this. Kind of wish I knew how this went together so I'd know how to pop it apart. All right. So we already know I'm gonna go with the greens. So let's go ahead and start grabbing the greens. All right. Was from Hawaii. Oh snap. Let's see. Trying to figure out what color I'm gonna do on this tabard, cloak, robe, fabric. I guess we'll just sum it up as fabric. And try and figure that one out. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I'm about to start painting up here in just a minute. Hope everybody's doing well. Love to hear a little sound off. If you're jumping in, just say, hey, howdy, how are you? I'd love to say hi to you and actually address you as an individual instead of going, hey, you guys, you know? So. Grim, no, Grim, that wasn't the call for you to come up here. All right, what's up, Fuzzball? Can still hear feedback from the tablet. Really? Okay. All right. Tablet's muted, so now I have no audio on my end. So if there's any feedback, I have no idea where it's coming from. Grim, the guy. Why are you always digging into that stuff? There's nothing over here for you. Come on. If you're going to hang out in here, you can hang out on the chair. Sit on the chair. Fuzzball, chair. If you're going to hang out in here, you're going to be on the chair. I can't have you running around underneath. All right, fine. Hang out under the chair then. All right. Let's see. So I got a couple of ideas here on how I want to run this one. Yeah, come here. Grim, come here. Come here. Oh, now you run off. Yeah, I don't think he likes the idea of being on the internet. I think he's afraid I'm going to start selling feet pics. Nobody wants to look at your toe beans, Grim. Come on. All right. He bounced. That's good. All right. Setting up the wet palette. Make sure that I'm seeing all chats again. So I do apologize if you're sending messages in the chat and I don't see them. It's because my tablet likes to flip between all chat and starred or VIP or MVP, whatever it is. And so I will answer all messages that I see as I see them, when I see them. All right, I promise. I'm not trying to ignore anybody here because that's not the way I want to roll. Here, I'm going to try and zoom in a little bit. So, try and get you guys a little bit closer to the action. So, let's see. We're going to start off with the greens. I got to figure out what color I want to use first. I'm kind of tempted to do something like straight up green. I'm also kind of tempted to put a bit of a blue green on here, like Cabalite. It wouldn't be too bad. How about this? I'm going to go ahead and start with the Cabalite, and then I'm just going to dry brush that brighter green tone that I've been thinking about over the top, and I can get it to replicate a fabric sort of texture. And holy crap, that paint is thick. There we go, get some water in there. Let's see if I can. Get this stuff mixed up a little bit better. Hey, that's better. All right. So let's see. Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, that's definitely a good idea. Do the blue green, the mithril silver, deepened blue. Yeah, I'll have to think that one over. How I would actually go about doing that. So let's see what I can do here. I'm just gonna. Yeah. This is going to be a bit of work, but I know it's going to be savable. I know we can save this because it wasn't even that bad to begin with. I wouldn't even say it's bad. You know, like this is actually a really good concept and a good idea. And the execution was pretty good. Just a feeling like maybe it was a little intimidating because like I can see right now that I'm gonna have a hard time trying to paint this being fully constructed. Now you come back and you want to tear up my leg? Dude, my leg is not your scratching post, dude. Go over here. Come on. On the chair. Okay, fine. Get out of here then. If you're not going to sit on the chair, find something else to do besides tearing my leg up. Cats, am I right? Love the fuzzball, but holy cow, he makes some really weird decisions. Let's see. Let's see here. It's like, in all honesty, I like how this contrast they put on it turned out, but I don't think I have the same contrast. Or no, I do. Sport Lightning. I really don't want to go back over this with another base priming. You know what? I'm halfway tempted just to airbrush this and Cavalite. But I don't know if that'll help much. Oh, now you want to lay down on the chair? Thank you. Holy cow. Alright. This is going to take a few coats to get the opacity I want. The front leg took it pretty quick, which is nice. And the trick is going to be trying to pick all of this out and hopefully not have to do 8, 9, 10, 12 coats. But I really like the concept they were going for here, that gold on green. Definitely a a change from the usual red, black, silver that you see on Sisters of Battle. But I'm liking it, you know, like it's different, but it's not glaring or garish. It's like it's actually pretty good. So it's just gonna take dang on, you know what? I really need to figure out a way to set this up so you guys can see what I'm painting instead of watching my knuckles getting drug across your screens. Let's try here. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think they were a bit before my time when it came to Warhammer 40k. I gotta try and figure out how I'm gonna get inside, because like I can see inside, but the brush doesn't want to get in there. I'm having to do some like paintbrush yoga up in here, trying to get that spot. At least this is the first color going on instead of like the last color going on. So I should be able to touch up any issues I run into. So, 98? Yeah. Yeah, I was a little one back then. I was single digits. I was closer to 10 than I was to 1, but yeah, it's single digits. Let's see. Dang on. There's just one spot that I have to like tiptoe around everything to try and get to. My brush is not very happy with me about it. My brush is bending all kinds of ways. But at least I got brush conditioner and restoring fluid. So, crisis averted? Or at least mitigated? Yeah. All right. So that's most of the cloak done. You got to chase some more details on it, but for the most part, I'd say that's the base coat for the cloak done. Let's see. Here, let me check my chats again. It says it's on all messages. So let's see. But yeah, let's see. Here's that. Yeah, it's nuts. The cost of these hobbies is getting insane. Like, I remember watching a comparison of quote OG Warhammer prices versus 2025, 2026, and holy crap. You can get a squad for 10 quid back in the day. Now it's like you're spending what, 35, 40 quid for a squad? So let's see. All right. What do I want to attack next? See, the problem that I'm seeing right up front is this rear leg is significantly darker than the front leg. Like, it's clear as day when I'm sitting in the room with it, but I gotta. Oh yeah, the camera even picks it up too. You see that color shift? Gotta try and fight that. So I guess I'm putting more paint on that leg. See if I can. There we go. That's what the doctor ordered. I'm definitely digging the Celtic inspired paint scheme that my buddy's wife was going for. Like, it looks good. Great concept. Just gonna try and cross the finish line on this one, you know? Let's see what I can do with it. Yeah, I wish they'd drop the prices considerably. Because, like, I think it's just because Games Workshop is relying on, like, one or two manufacturing factories to make their minis, and they don't want to branch out. They don't want to license to anybody outside of, like, Forge World. And I think Forge World is going the way of the Dodo too, if I remember correctly. I think I saw somewhere Forge World is going to be no longer a thing, or it's being absorbed into Games Workshop entirely and still going to be, quote, no longer a thing. Just whatever Games Workshop decides to christen it. But I understand they're trying to protect their IP, but holy cow. Like, people think piranhas are vicious. For GW's been throwing lawsuits at people that make facsimiles or miniatures that look similar or almost a proxy. Oh no, I think Finecast is gone. And I'm praying Finecast is gone, because Finecast is just, ugh. Finecast is short for fine, cast my money into the fire. Because the stuff they give you isn't all that great. I had a really, really bad experience with a Finecast Emperor's Champion, and got it in the box. It was all warped, twisted up, and it was, come on, it was really brittle, and they send it to you on a sprue. I mean, it's resin. What's it need a sprue for? Well, they send it to you on a sprue, and you cut it off the sprue, and the whole thing shatters, and you're down like $26. And Games Workshop is just laughing because they got another sucker to buy something that is theirs but not built to, quote, their quality. Buying outdated models or outdated minis, and they just fall apart. Because, like, I went to cut it off the sprue, and the whole thing just shattered on me. So, I invested in the stock market value of super glue that day. Saw a return, but surprisingly, I managed to keep it from looking like a absolute monster. Like, I was really worried it was going to look like a Cronenberg by the time I was done with it. Come on, let's go. This is one thing I really dislike about Games Workshop pots, is this rim situation here. Like, yeah, I haven't used this paint in about, I'd say closing in on 18 months. And I'm spending most of my time just trying to make it so I can close this and make it seal properly, right? I did all that work. Look at all the paint I'm having to sacrifice because of their poor design. That's a big chunk of paint there. Now, I know you guys would probably be like, oh, put it back in there. But the problem is it's already created a skin. It's like putting skin, you know? Look at that. Like, I can scrape some of the paint, liquid paint, off of it. But there's a large quantity of it that's already coagulated and turned into a scab. It's like, thanks, GW. Paying $5, $6, $7 for a pot of paint, and I only get to use about 25% of it because the other 75% of it turns into pudding skin at the next family's potluck, you know? It's non-toxic, but I don't recommend you try eating it, you know? Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are horrible. Yeah. You know what's crazy is I have the Humbrol tin cans. I still have those. And a good chunk of them are still liquid. Let's see how this dry brush turns out. I have a feeling this is going to do what I want. Yeah, it's kind of doing what I want. So I wanted to use the blue-green to set an undertone a little bit, try and help add to the shadows. And then this bright green will pick out the high points at the same time, if I do it just right, it'll help simulate a fabric texture. I've got a couple of guys wearing cloaks that I've done like that. Just a little bit of dry brush gray over black, and the way it hits the paint texture from the base coat, it almost looks like a crosshatch of fabric. And it really, really sells the concept of it being fabric instead of being a mill or too thick of plastic. Or, yeah, fabric versus plastic. So, here, I'm going to bring this in close. Hopefully I can show you. I don't know how well that's coming up, but there's... Let me change the settings on this. What is my quality on the tablet? 720? Yeah, no. We're going for higher picture quality. Let's go. Let's go. All right. So, if you take a look, I can see it on the phone just fine what I'm talking about. You see how it's kind of speckled in there? That helps sell the whole concept of it being fabric instead of plastic. Now, you don't want to go too crazy with it, because if you do, you kind of throw the baby with the bathwater, you know? But if you do it just right, like on the shoulders, there you go. And coming in here, we're going to try and set... Oop. Oh, okay, he's in the clear. It almost turned into a very bad day. The Space Marine we were painting last week on live stream fell and almost turned green. Don't get me wrong, I have no problems with the Dark Angels or Salamanders, but kind of weird to have a boatload of Templars and one Salamander. Alright, let's see. So all right. Now, a good chunk of the metal is already done, and I'm not sure what color was used for it. It looks as though they used either Runelord Brass or maybe even Brass Scorpion, and then hit it with Seraphim Sepia. It's kind of what I'm thinking they used. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry brush over the top with something brighter to help pick out those details. So let's see. No. Brass. Yeah, brass would probably do it. So we're going to go ahead and put some brass on the wet palette just to help contain the mess. Usually I wouldn't recommend dry brushing from a wet palette because it's kind of counterintuitive, but it is a handy container for holding your paint and keeping it from drying out. I will tell you, though, that if it sits for too long, it'll start separating your metallic flake and pigment from your actual suspension, fluid, paint, whatever you want to call it. So, here we go. Just going to try and pick out some of the details by dry brushing. I don't know how well that's going to come out on the camera. I honestly don't know. but it's just subtle. It's just ever so slightly, just enough to make it stand out, but not so much that it's like, hey, you know. I'm not trying to neon sign this thing. Just trying to give some sort of edge enhancement, I guess. I guess it's what I'm trying to go for here. So, you know how, like, when you're looking at armor, the edge of the armor kind of has a shine to it because it catches the light, because it's got that extra dimension to it. That's kind of what I'm replicating here. It kind of helps that I have all the paints sitting on the wall in front of me, so I have not memorized the paints. Just fortunately, I can read them. Please, I will not take credit for knowing the paint names off the top of my head, because Games Workshop changes their names every once in a while, and they discontinue paints and they make limited edition paints, and it's just like, please, don't make me run out and spend $10 on a paint pot just because you say you're not going to have it in like 6 months, and then drag it back out of the closet every other year. Like, I don't understand it. Their business model racks my brain. Like, it hurts. There's times where I'm thinking about Games Workshop stuff and I just want to close myself off in a dark room and just say Fus Rabah. So, well, I can kind of see the difference. It's not drastic, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna step up the color a little bit brighter. We're going for Straight Gold by Vallejo. So, let's see. Come on. There you go. Yep, that's going to do it. That's going to push it over the top. John, what's up, man? How are you? I'm over here just doing that 5-yard run for the end zone with this one. I wouldn't call it a recovery because honestly, I think the concept that the previous owner of this Mini had is fantastic. So I'm just running with it, you know, just carrying it that last little bit of the way. But I'm just gonna touch this up just a little bit, you know, because the idea was fantastic. I just feel like they walked away from it a little too early. You know what I mean? Like, I totally understand when you have a goal and you're like, I want to do this, and you kind of get intimidated or lost along the way. That's pretty much my life. Half the time I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. And then once I figure out what I want to do, it's like, okay, how do I figure out how to do it? And I'm sitting back at the table, bouncing my head off it, waiting for a good idea to pour out of my ears. And honestly, that's sometimes just how it goes, you know? Now, I wonder if it's showing up in the camera. I don't know if you guys can see that highlight. I feel like on that shoulder right here, I feel like that shoulder is really showing it off the best. Especially for the camera at the moment. Where the eagle or angel, what is that? Oh, it's the Inquisitor seal with wings on it. But yeah, I feel like that's starting to pop, and that's giving me the color that I'm trying to go for. So I don't want to push it too far, because if I push it too far, I'm just gonna have to run a wash over the top of it to try and knock it back down to something realistic. Yeah. So what do I want to do next? got a couple of ideas on what I want to do with this one, because like I'm halfway tempted to run a oil wash over it. Let's see if that'll help pop it more. No, not track wash. Pin wash, a little early for that. Fuel stains, engine oil. You know what? Yeah, we'll try that. We're going to do a little bit of engine oil. We're going to go a little grimy with this. See what you guys think of that. So, this is something I used on the Tiger 2 project. And quite literally looks like somebody failed to clean up engine oil spill. It's got a brownish, greenish sort of hue to it. And all in all, I really like the effect this has. So now I just gotta find a brush. We're gonna try this. So one thing I like about this stuff is if it's too heavy, right? So like right now you can see it's a little heavy. Just a little heavy. So what I can do is I can now take some mineral spirits and I can use those to thin this out. Yeah. It definitely looks like somebody ordered off the wrong menu at Taco Bell, doesn't it? So now it's starting to seep in and thin out quite a bit. You see what I mean? Might be a little too glossy at the moment. But it'll start picking out those details and give that aged sort of touch to it. So I'm going to do the same on this gauntlet here. It'll help pick out those details again. That's something I really like about this stuff. Is it's quick, it's easy, it doesn't use anything super aggressive. It just uses white odorless spirits to clean up, so it doesn't attack your acrylics, doesn't attack your enamels. Like, you can just run this stuff almost all day and it won't even notice it. Like, your base colors don't degrade, you know. And you can also let this stuff sit overnight and let it really set in. And then you can do sort of the opposite of dry brushing, where you actually take a Q-tip, right? Once all of this is done, and you put a little bit of white mineral spirit on it, or white odorless spirit. And you just come back and you drag it across, and it picks out the high points. Sort of like dry brushing, but instead of putting paint on, you're taking paint off. Now, I'm definitely going to want to do this for around these launchers on the shoulders, because there's a lot of white showing inside and around these rockets, or at least what I think are rockets. So what I want to try and do is I want to try and tone that down a bit, because that's just it's just a little too bright, and it doesn't really sell the idea that those are buried into the armor. It looks more like studs on like those leather belts everybody wanted in our teenage years, you know. And they looked cool in middle school and high school, but really a bit of an assault on the eyes nowadays. So hope everybody's doing well though today. I'm really hoping and praying that we manage to hit 250 subscribers by the 15th. It's a bit of a personal goal for me. And last week's video, which turned into Monday's video, didn't really help with that too much. Just because it put a pause on everything. So that was a big reason why I did the live stream last week, was to try and make sure that you guys still got, quote, attention from the hands, you know? I want to try and make sure that you guys understand that I'm here for you guys. I'm not just sort of like, oh, whatever, you know. But yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and let those oil washes dry. So she's gonna go over there. And then go ahead and keep working on this Black Templar from last week. Thank you very much for the best luck wishes. Let's see. What do I want to do? I'd like to try and pick out the energy rails on the weapon. So right now I'm looking for my purest white paint that I have. It seems to have grown some legs. You know what? I found my second bottle of it. Just do that. So this is Vallejo's Blanco Frio, or Cold White. This stuff is very bright white. It's almost, I'd say it's pure titanium powder suspended in acrylic medium. And I wouldn't be too shocked if I wasn't that far off, because it's definitely that sort of photoshopped teeth bright white. So here's the idea. We're gonna just run this in, right? Now it's okay if it starts thinning out the way it does. You see how it's getting sort of a rib effect? We're actually looking for that here. So what I want to try and do is I want to allow the paint to soak in into the recesses, because I'm going to use a wash over the top. I'm going to put like a bright blue or a bright green, and these little rib effects that are popping up at the moment will help really sell the idea that it's glowing, right? And that's what we want to try and do here. And then also up here on the front, it appears like he's got a light. So I want to pick that out. So there's that. I am kind of tempted to try and do some OSL. So on-scene lighting. So for example, if this is glowing, you'd see some refractory light here, definitely coming off the helmet. But you have to take into consideration like where the light's coming from and if it would get there, right? So you wouldn't see it so much on this shoulder, but you would definitely see a slight hue on the forearm. Now I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. I have never done OSL. It's something I've been wanting to try and do, but I probably won't take a stab at it first time on a live stream. As much as I would love to try and show you guys how to do it, first I need to learn how to do it. All right. I'm totally cool with sharing my mistakes and faults and errors with you all, but if I'm trying to teach something, I'd like to at least be competent in the subject at hand, you know? So what I'm doing here is I'm just picking out these little vents up on the front of the weapon, and then I'm coming back with my finger before the paint really sets in and has a chance to dry. I'm just dragging my finger over the top so that then the paint sits in these recesses all the way in the bottom, just like that, right? So it's definitely a trick that I like to use. It's not the best thing to do, but in a pinch, it helps. Like, the best thing to do is just not make a mess of it in the first place. But sometimes you gotta make a mess of it to make it look right. Especially for armor. So you guys will see that firsthand if you watch that tank playlist that I've been putting out. We're almost done. We're almost done with the tank. It's all constructed, and just about done doing the weathering. I've done the markings. Now it's just setting the scene. So I'm going to be carving up some foam and doing some diorama sculpting in the next couple of days. So, let's see. What do I want to pick out on this guy? Trying to figure out what I want to do next with him. I did happen to get some new pin wash, and I'm kind of interested to see how this will work out. So it's fluorescent white, right? I ordered this in November. The original bottle got lost on the way. Don't know where it went. This one finally showed up, and fortunately the seller was kind enough to get this to me quickly and with minimal issues. So I'm kind of tempted to see how this will look on a Black Templar, because I have a feeling it'll pick out these details quite nicely, and that's kind of what I'm going for here. So just want to see. So it's not very opaque because it is a water-based fluorescent pin wash, but under UV light it should really, really pop. So that's kind of what I'm going for here. So we're just going to take this pin wash and run it all along these angles here. A little recesses of the armor. And when I hit it with a UV or black light, it should really stand out. That's not good. Oops. Too much. Touched the side of this with the side of the applicator. So that one side is going to be super bright, fairly certain. But let's see what happens, you know? We're either all going to go, holy crap, this looks amazing, or I'm going to be going, what the deuce happened here? And we're all going to laugh. All right, we're going to figure this one out. But I'm committed to seeing how this turns out. And there's a hair. Tweezers, thank you. Joys of owning pets. They always want to contribute to everything you make. Food. Whoa! That was a massive blob of paint that just came off of this. They want to contribute to your food. They want to contribute to your art. And usually it's by means of hair. You find one or two in just about anything you're trying to do. Recently I was oiling up a gun stock and found a couple of Grimm's hairs in it. I was like, thanks, bud. So I had to go back and pick out those hairs and try and make it unnoticeable. Fortunately, it checked out. So, but yeah, it was one of those oh crap moments, to say the very least. All right. There's that. No outfit. Yeah, it sure seems that way. All right. There's that. I'm going to do a little bit of a pin wash in the corners of the shoulders. See if I can get that to pop the way I want it to. I have a feeling it's going to turn out pretty good. You can just barely see it as it starts to run. It's got a bluish white sort of touch to it. Just using capillary action to get it to run around all the edges and recesses so that then this does exactly what I want it to. So here in a second, I'll step away and grab a black light. And we can all take a look at this and either laugh together or go, oh crap, this actually looks good. And then I get to add a whole new step to painting my Black Templars. So I'm hoping for the latter. Really hoping that this turns out the way I think it will. If I do it just right, this is going to look nuts. Also, while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and hit the weapon seams. Pick those details out. Hello, everybody. Hello. I see 9 of you are on. I wish to welcome you to the cave. Today, I'm just painting and hanging out with you all. Feel free to say hi, howdy, how are you? And I am more than happy to talk to all of you. Just drop a chat, say hi, and I'll give you a call out, shout out, you know? So, let's see. I have a feeling I'm missing some spots. Yeah. Need to go around that thigh armor piece and pick out those vents. Those vents as well. All right. Well, I will be right back. I'm going to go source a UV light so we can check the progress on that and see how it turned out. Be right back. And I'm back, everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my overhead. And we'll see if that helps. Oh, that's actually looking pretty decent. Like, the camera is not doing too hot at picking this all up, but yeah, the detail that's popping on my side and the detail that's popping on the camera are two totally different things. Yes, there's a bit of spillage on the helmet, definitely a lot on the feet, but I should be able to fix those pretty easily. So, yeah, I guess we can all chat together. That's fine. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to figure out how I want to play that. Because the problem is I've already done my aging and weathering, unless I'm able to kind of just scrub it away with my fingers. No, that's still pretty bad. That's really bad. But hey, that the top of the ankle kind of cleaned up for a second. Let's try this. Nope, didn't really do much there. Hey, Amnesia, I was wondering when you were going to pop up. But yeah, I kind of had an idea of doing, like, panel lining with the steady white fluorescence. This, it's not terrible. So, like, I had first seen somebody using this on Gundam, like Gunpla, and I was like, oh yeah, that looks cool. And then I put it on here, and it's like, it's water based, so I know I'm already asking a lot of it to try and fill these super fine gaps here and not spill out all over the place. But see what I mean? Like, it looks cool, especially as it's fresh on the model. It's all concentrated. But definitely going to be one of those panel line first, weather second. It's one of those, like, paint completely backwards and you'll get the desired result. You know what? I might as well try that. Let me go pick up another one. What would look good? Unfortunately, my Emperor's Champion third iteration is still gray. Kind of living up to the channel name at the moment. So you know what? I'll do some Blade Guard. Unless I got some kind of captain floating around. That would look good. Yeah, you know what? We'll do it with the Blade Guard. We'll start with them. But I am seriously considering giving my Ultra Smurfs a rubbing alcohol bath and then painting them up as white Templars so I can have the black Templars and the white Templars and be like, haha, I am so basic. I only use 2 colors. And get laughed out of the room. Hope everybody's doing well today. Let's see. How's the battery doing today? Hey, I fixed the charging problem. We're at 100% and holding. Little victories. All right, so I guess this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and pin wash panel line first. And then I'm going to go back and touch up all the details. And then hope and pray that this panel wash or pin wash panel liner still holds up once everything's put on here. Because I have a feeling if I do it just right, this could look really nuts. See? Like, I think that looks pretty sick to begin with. And then I just keep applying it to get it extra bright. So you can see how that white line is running down the interior. Right there. It's got the opacity I'm looking for. I gotta try and get that all the way around the shield. There we go. Because I think this would look absolutely nuts if I do it right. Come on. Hey guys, have you ever wanted to watch paint dry? too soon. Let's see. There we go. Now it's really starting to run. I'm terribly sorry if you hear a lot of rubbing on the microphone. I'm actually wearing some headphones at the moment. And every time I look up, I rub the edge of my hoodie with the headphones. So I apologize in advance if you're hearing a lot of scrubbing and whatnot. But yeah, how's that for a concept? So now what I got to do is I got to figure out what colors I want to do for this thing. Trying to decide. Maybe do my usual brass. Thank you very much, Amnesia. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one thinking this. I don't feel quite so crazy now. I'll probably do a brass border on the shield because I really like how that looks in contrast with the black in the field of the shield. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Do something like that. So that's kind of what I want to try with this guy here in a minute, because like you can see the plasma coil isn't doing anything, but if I put blue on it, like Pillar Glacier, the contrast color, put that on top, or Soulstone Blue, and then I hit it with just a bit of that panel liner real quick. I have a feeling that'll turn out nice. So I need to refill my brush cup because it looks like a really nasty bad day for an oil change. There's a boatload of glitter floating around in it, and thank God it's not motor oil or I'd be crying. I'll be right back. And I'm back. Sorry for the delay. Needed to get some fresh water for the brush. So, let's see what happens. So, hopefully as I put this bronze on here, it hides the spillage of the fluorescent white without falling into the recess, which it just did. Can I still? Yeah, you can still kind of see it. All right, not the end of the world. So, really got to tiptoe around the border. Really carefully. There's that. Check it again. Yeah, everything looks okay with the exception of that top corner. But I think this is going to look really good once it's all done right. So we're going to come in here Now, for this corner, because the ribbon's right there, for those of you trying to paint these for the first time, my little tip would be to take the brush and actually do something that everybody will tell you not to do. You're going to take the brush and you're going to slowly push up into the ribbon and feed the brush in. You don't have to be forceful with it, just a little bit of a touch. It'll help keep your paintbrush from crossing into what's known as the field of the shield. So the field is that center panel. And one thing I'm doing my absolute best to avoid right now. Also, when you're working with metallics, you want to try and work with long strokes. You don't want to be doing short strokes. If you do short strokes, you start to get this sort of chipping effect. Like it almost looks like waves. So I'm not sure if you can see it here, but it's really bright and then it starts darkening and then it's brighter and then it's dark and then bright. That's because I was making stroke movements here, and you want to try and do one continuous pass with the brush. And that'll help keep your paint level coming around the corner. I love painting these shields, to be honest. I really like them. So, in all honesty, if I could get like 50 of these things for my freaking Templars, be all I run is this. Have everybody running one of these shields. So, coming across, and then just nice and easy. Remember, long stroke, gonna come all the way through, just like that. And you can see right here, it's kind of darkening in the corner. That's because I'm trying to touch it up, and I keep moving those metallic pearls, pigments around in the paint, and that is causing that sort of pocketing, I guess, is one way to describe it. It kind of looks like little pockets. Now, you can see the edge of the shield is still black, right? Let me put my hand here, trying to help pick that out. So you can see how the edge is still black. So the edges are the easiest part to paint for me, far and away. I think it's one of the easiest things to do. So what I do is I find the corner. You can see how I'm leaving the brush in contact with this leading edge the entire time. And what that does is it helps keep the brush level. It lets me see what the brush itself is doing as I'm applying the paint. Because if you push too hard, the brush is going to lift away. It's going to do this, and it's going to come up off the surface. But if you're paying close enough attention to it, you can watch that brush lay flat across the surface. And that'll transfer paint evenly across your surface. Now, again, you want to try and keep your strokes long brush strokes. You don't want to be doing super short, choppy sort of movements. If you can, you want to try and do the entire length of the panel. So like up here, this would be one panel. So I'm going to come across. You see how it's one solid movement I came across? I didn't like boom, 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 boom. I came all the way across in one go. What that'll do is help keep the paint level, and you won't get those pits in the pigments. So, but yeah, so there's that. I'm gonna keep running around this edge here. Now again, with the ribbon being in the way, I'm doing the same thing. I'm kind of feeding the brush into the ribbon. And then because of this corner, I'm going to start in the corner and drag to the middle, right? And that'll help level everything out, just like that. Now there is a little spot right here in the nook that didn't set right. So you just sort of massage the brush into that corner and you're good to go. Same thing on the opposite side, but because you don't have the ribbon, you can actually run all the way up and all the way down, just like that. And then Same thing for this corner here. I'm going to try and massage the paint into the corner, then come up to the point. And again, from the top down, just like that. Ta-da! So there's the brim of the shield, just about done. And then to check our work, we're going to hit it with the UV light just to see if it's doing what we intended and what we wanted it to do. So we're going to finish up this really quickly. There's that. Clean off the brush. Immediately make our brush water look like glittery motor oil. And as you can see, the line is still intact. And that's what we want. Now, there was that one corner right up here. So you want to be really careful. You don't want to have this spill out onto the field or the brim. Now we're going to check and make sure that it doesn't change. It does kind of change the brightness a little bit, but I'm sure as it dries, it'll level it back down. But there, let me turn this towards you so you can see. Yeah, I think EC would look good with this too. Dang on, why is the focus so bad? Is that going to fix it? There we go. There we go. So now for the details in here, I have a couple of ideas. I'm tempted, because I don't really have a neon blue contrast outside of Pterodon turquoise or Croxagore scales. You know what? We're gonna try it with this. We're gonna water it down quite a bit. This is where you get to start seeing me go evil scientist for a minute. So we're gonna take our white paint. We're gonna start tracing out the skulls, right? Now it's totally fine if it kind of pulls up a little bit at first, right? That'll be fine. We're going to go ahead and run this all the way through the channel, all the way down, right? Just like so. Right? And then we're going to come in here, hit this side. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that too. I'm kind of running with it at the moment. Just sort of cooking and waiting to see how long it goes before I get burned by it. So let's see what happens. Because this is going to look pretty nuts if I do this right. Because I'm just brainstorming, and you guys are just along for the ride. So I apologize in advance if this seems absolutely unhinged. There's that. Now what I want to try and do is I want to try and quickly pick out the eyes. I'm going to try and clean out the eyes of most of that paint. So I'm going to dry off the brush just enough. And we're just going to pop them in just like that. Pop, pop. And what this will do is it'll help exaggerate the eyes here in just a second. Just a second. This thing's going to look nuts. So, gotta get in there. In there. That one's really bad. Just trying to pick out the worst of this white paint that's pulling in the eyes. And then I've got a really stupid idea, but I think it's going to work here in a minute. So we're not going to use this applicator. Since it's water-based, I'm going to sacrifice a brush for a minute. And then we're going to take this, just very lightly surface coat the skulls. Just ever so slightly. Quick check. Yep. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? And then the icing on the cake, so that then even if you don't have a UV light to take advantage of it, you run some of that Croxagore. Hey, chat filter top messages. Stop that. I want to see all messages. Hey, Milwaukee. I wondered when you were going to be hopping in here. I'm terribly sorry. I did not mean to ignore you. Chat was doing chat things. Let's see. So there's that. And then we're going to water down Croxagore scales like crazy here in a second. Or Pterodon turquoise, sorry. And I'm hoping, really hoping, that I can get this thin enough that it goes on almost like a tint instead of as heavy as a contrast. Yeah, that's about right. Here we go, here we go. Just ever so slightly. It's not giving the coverage that I was hoping for, but if I did it right, the UV light should still be able to punch through that. Kind of toned it down a bit, but I think it's good enough. What are we thinking? Here, let me see if I missed anybody else in the chat who may have been saying. Not seeing too many new faces. Oop, not seeing too many new faces today, but I'm happy to see the MVPs, the ride or dies of the gray pile. I truly appreciate y'all being here all the time. Let's see. So we already have the brass, and we have the blue. I'm trying to decide what I want to do for the cross on the shield. Let's see if I want to try and pick out a specific color. Let's see what I come up with for that. Kind of tempted to really quote double down on the blue. Go for gunmetal blue. This is a nice color to use, especially for the chevron points on the cross. I like using it, especially for that stuff. I will admit, though, without using like a mixing base, it's kind of lackluster on its immediate, quote, deployment of paint. So what I like to do is I take metal medium and mix it with it, because most of the stain comes out on the initial squeeze of that paint, but none of the metallic pigments actually make it out. So we're going to double down on this blue and draw out these points here. It's going to be very subtle, very subtle, but sometimes less is more, you know? Sometimes it's just the little touch, you know? It's like seasoning on a steak. You want a little bit of rosemary. You don't want the whole rosemary bush in your steak, you know? Just little touch. Just like that. And it's very subtle. It doesn't really show up well on the video, especially with the light being where it is. But you can just barely pick it out even in the room. So we're going to pick out some more of the details here. We're going to go for a brass color here, and we're going to pick out all these dots, the rivets. Now, I've found that doing the rivets, the easiest way to do it is just barely touch it. Just like that. You're just barely touching the rivet, just tickling it, you know? You're not trying to like smash the brush in there. And some rivets will be brighter than others, and that's okay, because it kind of sells the whole concept of the rivets were once painted over, and then with wear and tear, the paint erodes and breaks away. But yeah, I would just recommend that if you're not too comfortable trying to paint these rivets, just get a toothpick and just very gently touch the toothpick off of the rivets without any paint, right? Just get used to getting a feel for what it feels like, and you just want it to just barely, this isn't a toothpick, but you just want to barely be able to feel the rivet point when you're messing with the toothpick, or in this case, cat hair on my brush. But yeah, you just want to gently touch the rivet, and you don't need to like see the brush deform, just as long as you know it's making contact. So you can see there's a good sized bead of paint here on the brush. Just that alone is enough. See, that one was a bit too much. And so you just kind of want to just tickle the rivet points. Nothing too crazy. So now, something I do like to do occasionally is try and accentuate the edges. So we've already got a dark gold tone running along the shield, and I've got a really bright gold tone on the brush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the edge of the brush across the edge of the shield. So what this is doing is it's literally edge highlighting. Just taking the brush, just nice and gently. It's okay if the brush deforms a little bit, but just as long as you have the same contact patch all the way across, you should be totally fine and not have any issues, right? So just take your brush right across. Now, if you're really talented and can do NMM, non-metallic metal, by all means, go for it. I have yet to really master non-metallic metal. As much as I would love to be able to try and share that skill with you guys, I'm not there yet. And that's a skill that I'm still trying to practice and get a feel for. And I'll tell you, it's like two steps forward, one step back, right? Like, I'll make some really crazy progress on it, and then I find myself doing something else, like a Tiger 2, and then I find myself doing another project. So like I've got a commission actually sitting on the table waiting. It's an F-14A, and outside of the guidance that I got from the guy who wants me to build it, he did kind of give me a little bit of creative liberty, and so I'm gonna do what I can to make it as realistic as I can. So, uh, one thing that a lot of people don't understand is that when an F-14 is powered down, there's not enough power left over for the hydraulic system. So, like the engines, usually the right or starboard one is fully open, and the port or left side one is fully closed. And so that's why it always looks kind of weird when you're looking at the back of a Tomcat on a static display, especially the F-14A. People will be like, "Oh, it's asymmetric. That's not right." But it's no, no, no. That's actually right because the hydraulic system cuts out and loses pressure before it can open up the other engine. So he's allowing me to go as realistic as I possibly can with it, and I'm really looking forward to having that complete. So now that we've got the shield to a point where I want to take a pause on it, I'm gonna go ahead and try and do this panel lining. Oh yeah, trust me, I want to do OSL, but I want to make sure that I'm doing it right. Like I really want to do OSL, and I really want to do OSL with you guys, but I right now, like, I understand the general concept, and I haven't actually put it into practice. So I'd like to have like one or two attempts under my belt before I start saying, "Hey, this is me doing OSL." Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the Black Templars. So it's very much the Knights Hospitaller sort of theme, and that's always been kind of interesting to me because, like, if you guys have seen the movie Kingdom of Heaven, there's a theory bouncing around that the cleric, I guess, for lack of a better term, that's rolling around with Balian and his dad originally in the beginning is actually an angel disguised as a Knight Hospitaller. And I really enjoy that movie because there's so many good little historical references to it. Now, mind you, there is a lot of creative liberties being taken with that movie, and it's good entertainment and has some good historical referencing. So if you have seen it and didn't think it was so hot, I ask if you've seen the director's cut, because the director's cut makes it that much easier to watch and easier to understand everything that's going on. It's sort of like the director's cut of Doom versus the theatrical cut. When you watch a theatrical cut of Doom, it's just jarring and it's like that was a waste of money. But once you see the director's cut, it's like, holy crap, this is actually a good movie. Why'd they cut this out? And then you realize that it's all because of attention spans of the modern consumer. They're like, oh, we need to cut this out. And it's like this was actually pivotal to the plot. So, oh, math for OSL. Yeah, I could totally see that playing in. So like my understanding of the concept and the way to apply it is you pick your piece on the model that's supposed to be illuminated, and then you draw straight lines off of that to every component on the model, and if it's blocked, then that part gets no OSL like highlighting whatsoever. But if it has direct line of sight, it gets a gradient, and you start with like the stuff closest to you being, or closest to the object being the brightest naturally, and then work your way out to where you're glazing the paint on and really sort of just dusting the paint on rather than really putting it on in layers. Let's see. I'm gonna do that one there. Let's try there, there. I've seen OSL done with an airbrush. Yeah, that makes total sense. So like I'd love to try the airbrush method because that seems to be the most straightforward outside looking in. Because all you do is you take your airbrush, right? Let's say this is the airbrush, and you put it right on the point of whatever's supposed to be glowing, and you point it back at your model, and you just, and all of a sudden you've got 99% of your OSL done, and then all you have to do is blend and shade and make it realistic, you know? Like, that seems to be the most straightforward, simple process of doing it. And I would probably try that method and spend quite a bit of time trying to get a feel for air pressure, paint feed, you know. So let's see, some people I've seen. Oh, so I'm not glazing anything real. It's not IG Mill. Did my yeah, I went back to top messages. I am so sorry. Okay, let's see what's going on. Great comparison. Doesn't yeah, it's not exactly straightforward, but it's sort of skipping a few steps to try and get it quote easier, I guess. So like people can explain OSL and make it seem really simple and easy. And then as soon as you see someone put it in practice, you're like, what the deuce? It's very much like watching somebody play guitar for years or an instrument for years. Like, oh yeah, it's just this. And they run a fast-paced arpeggio, sweep picking, all of it. And they're like, yeah, it was pretty simple. And you're sitting there going, dude, you make me want to break my guitar and just give up and just crawl under a rock. How is it that simple? Oh, great. And that big old blob of... yeah, that's going to be a lot of touch-up. So... yeah, no. Once I saw IG Mill, I was like, oh, wait, he's talking about Milwaukee. Because I couldn't see his messages, so I'm glad you said something like that, because I wouldn't have known. I don't know why, but my tablet is not sharing all chats constantly. It's still trying to do the whole top chat, top comment nonsense. All right, so let's see where we're at with this. Okay. Got a lot of touching up to do when it comes to setting all this up, but stand a chance at getting this right. Let's see. Here's that. Oh, yeah, I still gotta get here. I'm gonna cut the overhead for a second so we can all see what's going on here. So there was a big spill on the base. Don't really worry about that, but let's see. Try and trace out this armor panel right here. And then we're going to go ahead and start picking out actual colors on this. Let's start with some brown tones. Actually, no. We're going to start with black paint. Touch up that massive spill on the leg, because if I don't do it now, I won't do it ever. So. Of course, it's still wet. Or at least it looks wet. No, it's just glossy. Okay. Very glossy. All right. Sorry, I'm not saying a whole lot at the moment. Biting down on a flashlight. Fortunately, it's got a rubber bite guard on it, so. That's good. I'm glad everything's in frame. Let's see. All right, so did I glue this? Please tell me I didn't glue this. Oh, it's not one of those. All right, yeah, so it was glued. It's not now. Okay. Well, that just simplified things just a bit for me. Yeah. Guess I'll just pop the other one too while we're here. Come on. Come on. Okay, fine. You don't want to pop off, you can stay there. Oops. Let's see. I want off-white, but I don't necessarily want ivory. Blanco Pergamino. Yeah. Try that. I don't think I've ever used this. So, I'm gonna use this off-white. Try and loosen it up a bit, because this has been sitting for like ever. Hopefully I can get this to, of course, there's big old paint plug in the middle of it. But at least it's better than Citadel's paint ring. But let's see. There. Yeah, so I want a little bit of off-white for this tabard. Now, the fun part is going to be getting these angles right and not dragging paint across things I don't want off-white. Now, it's totally fine if I get paint on the base. I'm going to do texture paint on the base itself, and that's going to hide like 99.999% of whatever I do to this base. I don't have to worry. Like, I could paint a smiley face on this base and it wouldn't impact anything just because of the texture paint covering it all up. So we're going to do this. Now, you can see, just like I was talking about with the metallic paints, there's a bit of a choppiness going on with this paint because I'm doing short strokes, and that's something you kind of want to avoid, but these are thinner coats of paint, so I can go back and touch it up and not really tear up the finish. While I'm in here, I'm going to try and define the sides of the tabard here. And then come across just above the belt buckle. You don't necessarily need to touch the belt buckle, but you want to try and get as close as you can so that then it looks realistic. Now, trying to get in to the back of the tabard. I've seen a lot of people just miss this piece. Maybe it's just for expedient painting. And I understand if you're just trying to get something done, put it on the table. You just don't want it to be a big old army of gray pieces. You want to have a bit of personality to it. But take the minute or two to paint the tabard if you have the chance, you know. Really changes the whole aspect of like, oh, I've got painted stuff, versus like, oh, I took my time and really put an effort into trying to paint these things up. You know, it's the little things. It's like when you take out the trash, do you put a bag down? Do you put a new bag in? Or do you just leave it empty until later, like future you realizes, oh, I got to put a new bag in because I got trash I need to throw away, you know? So, let's see. No. Yeah, I'm no Bob Ross. I am no Bob Ross. Man could paint trees while on life support. Make them realistic. I'm over here drawing stick figures and poking holes in mud. I would love to see what What he would have done with a miniature, though, I think he would have blown some people's minds. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he would have been all over Warhammer. Right, today, guys, we're gonna go ahead and paint this sweet little orc. What? We're just gonna go ahead and put some paint on him, right? Yeah. It's okay. Little mistakes are fine. He's gonna go on the WOG later. You're gonna get a little messy. It's okay. We'll touch that up later. No, I don't have happy little trees. I've got horribly twisted and destroyed trees. I'm trying to find one of them. There you go. Mangled up trees. Picked up a couple for the diorama, but yeah, these things are tiny compared to the tank that they're supposed to be sitting next to, so may have to scrub that. May have to come up with another idea. So, but yeah, the Tiger 2 is just about done. Markings are all on. Just doing a lot of weathering at this point. And literally after this live stream, gonna be editing the progress I made on the Tiger 2. So it's gonna be a late night for me, because that's gonna be uploaded and ready for publishing tonight and should go live tomorrow. I'm thinking about shifting my release time back. So currently I have my release time as like 2 p.m., 2:30 Eastern time. And I think if I were to push my release time back to about 3 or even 4, I might get more initial views. What do you guys think on that? Like, love to know y'all's take on it. Would y'all really mind if I push it back an hour and a half, 2 hours? See if we can try and get some more first-time viewers. Let's see. There's that. Gotta find a good leather brown. I'm trying to decide what brown I want to use for the leather, because I've got like 7 or 8 sitting right in front of me. Saddle brown, mahogany brown, flat brown. For me, it wouldn't really matter because it's usually really late at night. Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, because you are in Europe. So, but yeah, I'm just kind of playing with the schedule a little bit, trying to see if we can get some more first-time viewers. See what works best. Because I'd love to see the channel grow. I'd love to see like 500 subscribers before like mid-April, but I might be shooting for the moon on that one. But it's an easy thing to use for cleaning an airbrush. So I got a couple of options for you. If you can find this stuff, Mr. Cleaner. So this stuff I use to clean my brushes, which is why this one's so dark. But I've got another one that's pretty clean, and I use this to clean my brush. Here's the clean one. And I use this to clean my my airbrush, and it does a great job. It's almost as aggressive as acetone, but it's not so violent. on like gaskets and O-rings and seals and stuff like that. Like acetone will just drag your seals out into a back alley and beat the crap out of them. But that Mr. Tool Cleaner works very nice for my airbrush. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that if I push my publication time back maybe an hour and a half, I might get some more first time viewers. So now we're just gonna go ahead and pick out this belt here. And then we're gonna go ahead and realize that I missed a good chunk of the tabard, and I'm gonna have to revisit that in a minute. So I'm gonna go ahead and start painting this side of the holster, because the tabard on this side has been painted. There's a tabard right there, has not. So we're just going to chase this out real quick. And resubs, looking at videos, everything's going great for a relatively new channel. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think last I checked, I was at like 240 on the nose. I don't know if we grew since about 8 or 10 hours ago, but I'm very thankful to every single one of you. I truly am. Every subscription, every like, every comment counts, and it really helps to make this channel grow, you know. And really, I couldn't do half the stuff that I'm doing now without you guys, because like in all honesty, this channel has helped keep me focused on projects. I'm not gonna lie, if I wasn't doing that tiger model for a video, I'd probably still have it in just the hole. I'm picking out suspension components and questioning why I decided to waste time on that, because like I will admit there are days where the ADHD hobgoblin is beating me upside the head with a stop sign, and the distractions are pretty crazy sometimes. But this channel has definitely helped give me focus when it comes to this stuff, and really helps me with this. Yeah, I think I think the F-14 is going to be the next video subject, because that's something I want to try and get done before my big move coming up. Because if I can do it before my big move, that simplifies trying to get it to my buddy who commissioned it, and I want to make sure that he gets it in one piece and not beat to death by the postal service drop kicking the box down an up escalator just for sport. So thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be a Jolly Rogers. So he asked specifically for 201 or 202, and unfortunately, I only have the decals for 200. Now, the reason why he's asking specifically for 202 is because he's actually seen that exact aircraft and been able to actually touch that airframe. For those of you who don't know, the Jolly Rogers were actually involved in the movie, The Final Countdown, with Martin Sheen and crap, who else was in that? I'm trying to remember who else was in that. Good chunk of these actors were long before my time, but the airframe that he's actually touched was in the movie and has quite a bit of screen time. So does airframe 201. I don't want to say 200, but I find it interesting that they only showed two birds for the whole fighter squadron. So I think Kirk Douglas was in that too. Yeah. Yeah, I could get 202, but I also want to try and make sure that I get the Buno number, right? So like I need to find the total decal sheet, cuz like yeah, I could just do quote bumper number 202, and at face value it would look fine, but for any of us who are like really into fighter aircraft, we'd look at 202 and then we'd see the Buno number, the build number. Um and we'd be like that bumper number doesn't match the Buno number. Now that's for those guys with the taped up glasses that go, well, actually, but yeah, I think he was cool with me running the 200 tags, but I still want to try and find 202 for him with the appropriate Buno number if I can. But we're starting to get to that point where it's just sort of like I need to build it, and then I can worry about doing the markings when it's completed. Right now, it's still in box, still all bagged up. And it's a great kit too. It's the Tamiya 148. So originally, he had commissioned me to build a 1/72 scale Sukhoi 30 SM, and Zvezda, the way they did the wing roots, they just don't glue together very well. And so it got to the point where the wings were just popping constantly, and I started losing some of the details that I was trying to maintain on the back of the airframe, because the glue was slowly eating through the details every time I'd have to patch up the quote broken wings. And so I told him, I was like, hey, I apologize, but this kit is now starting to fight me every step of the way. He's like, hey, it's okay. I got another idea for you, and it's one you're gonna like. And I was like, oh, and he's like, yeah, Jolly Rogers F-14A. I was like, oh, yeah, I can do that. So I'm doing that for him now. So here, just picking out some of the ribbons and the purity seals. I know some people like to use contrast paints for the seals themselves, so they tend to paint those in white. And I get that. I just don't have a contrast paint that does what I want, you know. So I like bright red on the highlight edges and like a deep purple in the recesses. Like I like that contrast. So Charles Sterling, yeah, he might have been in there too. All right, give me a second. I gotta check my chats again. All messages, cool. So seems we have 8 people in here. Welcome everybody. Welcome. Let's see. Trying to decide what I want to do next on this thing, because there's a lot of details that I can start picking out. I still got to pick out the belt inside the buckle, and then the belt itself running towards his hip, but under that hip plate. I remember when the Primaris first came out, a lot of people were really upset. I was thinking to myself, finally, a Space Marine that's scaled properly, because like the Firstborn were so squat. They just they just bothered me so bad. Here, give me a second. Plug the power cable from the phone so I can charge the tablet, because the tablet's starting to get a little light. So let's see what happens here. I want to make sure that I can communicate with y'all. Yeah? You like the Firstborns more? Honestly, I just feel like the Firstborns are just sort of like somebody dropped a like college textbook on the dude's head from orbit and said, "Do your homework." Popped him upside the head. So, trying to find my Thunderhawk Blue. There it is. Yeah. Later, Nordic. You have a good one. It's always a pleasure seeing you. Have a good night, and hopefully we can chat a bit tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow, but my whole sleep schedule's been thrown into the blender recently. So I apologize if quote crossover for the next couple of days is just non-existent. So come on, get out of there. Come on. There we go. Later, brother. All right, let's see. So here, I'm just going to start picking out some of the edge highlight just a bit. I'm going to start doing that now before I get too carried away here. Because if I don't do it now, I most certainly will forget it later in the process. So there's that. Let's see. Anybody got any questions? Let's keep the conversation moving, you know? It's like it's one thing for me just to sit here and paint. I can do that in complete and total silence, but I'd love to have a bit of a conversation going so that then you guys are also entertained instead of just quite literally watching paint dry. You know? Let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, contrast paints are kind of a mixed bag. Sometimes they work great, and sometimes they make me want to burn the house down. Let's see. I really like them for Tyranid painting, especially for those, for lack of a better term, vents, the tears in the skin tissue. They work really good at painting those. And like let me see. I've got a couple Tyranids floating around here somewhere. Where are they? Yeah, here you go. They're like Tyranids. They have this little tear here. They have the big old brain thing here for this model. Another tear. And it works really well at picking those out. But oh yeah. And you're trying to use the contrast paints, and they're coffee staining, aren't they? They're making those little ridges in your paint scheme. I've noticed that if you're painting something really large with contrast paints, you're better off airbrushing it on and praying. All right, let's see. There's that, and around the edge, down there. Yeah, I get that. All right, I'm checking chats again. Top messages, stop that. There we go. All right. Cool. Armors themselves. Okay, I haven't missed anything so far. But yeah, I agree. The contrast is definitely going to be one of those like love and hate things. Especially for lots of armor. I've found that if you water it down just a little bit, just the slightest bit, you can kind of apply it as a glaze. Just keep applying and applying and applying and applying and applying. And eventually you'll get the opacity you want, but you do kind of run the risk of coffee staining. And honestly, the coffee staining is what drives me nuts. I have a buddy who swears up and down by the contrast paints, loves them to death. And I respect him. I got mad respect for him because he's a very, very good friend of mine and a mentor of mine, both professionally and in the hobby space. And he swears up and down by contrasts, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, but I don't see the allure. Like, yeah, I can occasionally see me using them, but I don't see me replacing my entire paint line. Now, speed paints are slightly better from like Army Painter. Their stuff is pretty good, but still, the contrast paints for me is just, I've yet to really shake hands with them. So, hello everybody. Hello. Thank you for joining us today. Today I'm just chilling, painting a few random pieces here and there. So for those of you just joining in, I've decided to try and do a UV reactive pin wash on this Space Marine. And so just sort of painting in the details and filling all the details in on this this Marine. And in the end, I think this will look pretty snazzy. So, dang, we had 11 people and 5 of them just jumped ship. Oh well, it'll buff. Maybe I need to re-roll for charisma. Let's see. And let's see here. Yeah. This is another reason why I like to edge highlight relatively early in the process. It's because how I'm going about this, I'm also hitting the top of the wings for the skull here. And if I had already painted the skull metallic and I hit it with the edge highlight, it just wouldn't look right. So it's one reason why I like to do edge highlighting fairly early in the process. Let's see. But yeah, after the move, I'm thinking I'll be able to really set up my quote painting area the way I want. So I may actually start doing face on camera, sort of interview style, as I'm talking over some of the processes, but I'm not fully sold on that idea just yet. I'm kind of enjoying the anonymity of it all at the moment. I mean, by no means am I any sort of celebrity A, B, C, or Z rated. I'm a nobody, but it is kind of nice to be able to not have to worry about anybody running up going, "Oh my God, you're a gray pile." I'd be like, "Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't bother me in the slightest if somebody ran up to me, but I'd be more worried about them and their quote social standing after having an outburst like that." So, I don't know what you guys think about it. Should I remain completely anonymous? Should I do something with like a mask, or should I just do the whole like face reveal after the move and everything's set up and we're good to go? Because I have no idea what I want to do with that. Let's see. Of course, there's a little hair sticking out of the brush. Yeah, all right. Get out of there. Grim, I swear I'm gonna shave you one of these days. Or at least trim your hair down. It's not quite so long. So, let's see. Sorry if my voice starts turning crazy sounds at the moment, because fighting a sneeze and my nose is going, "Hey, this is a great time to stop allowing you to breathe." So my voice may change. So I wish to apologize. Ooh, too much edge highlight there, but oh well. We're gonna risk it for the biscuit here. Alright, check chats, all messages. Hi everybody, welcome. Just chilling out, painting some minis. Feel free to say hi. If you like what you're seeing, maybe check out my channel. Drop a subscribe, a like, comment. And happy to have you here. Nice and easy. So when I'm going around the edge of the breastplate here... Oh no, I already sneezed. I've sneezed a couple times. I've been quick enough to hit the mute button so you guys aren't getting your ears blown out. But when I'm going around this breastplate, I'm trying to ensure that I keep the brush on the high side, because we have that UV panel liner, right? You can see how it's sticking out pretty clearly. You see that bright line going around it. And I don't want to cover that with this paint, because if I do that, it's going to degrade that effect. I don't want to lose that. So, but because that panel line is so broad, excuse me, I'm going to try and come over with this edge highlight and try and tighten that up a little bit more, because that does seem to extend all the way out to the very edge of this lower breastplate, and I want to tighten that up. Try and make it more of a glow effect coming from within the armor. See? Now it's not nearly as aggressive. Here, let me turn off the overhead. You can probably see it clearer now. So I'm going to move the light around a bit on it. Ah! Hey, that's my leg. Ow! Ow! Dude, you're 16 pounds. You can't just pull yourself up. Jeez, dude. Yes, I'm happy to see you too. You want to get in the chair? Dude, I'm painting, my guy. Come on. Well, don't give me that look. It's not like I don't care. Come on. Get in the chair. Oh, you don't want to get in the chair? Okay. All right. Ah! Yeah, no. All right. Everybody say hi to Grim. He's currently checking out the workspace. Yeah, big guy. What? No, I know you want cuddles right now, but I'm painting. I know. I'm painting. Come on, dude. I gotta get back to work on this. There's people all over the globe watching this. You know that? Come on, dude. Hey, dude, you're making a mess. Take it easy. Yes, hi. Hello. Yep. If you want to sit right there, you can sit right there, but I'm kind of painting. Come on. All right. Dude, you can't be between me and the painting. You're gonna make things complicated here, Grim. Come on. Come on, dude. Hey, oh, whoa. What, you want to climb up on my shoulder? What are you, a parrot? Come on. There. Yes, hi. How are you? So if any of you were wondering, he's currently trying to cuddle up. This big fluff ball. Come on, big guy. I gotta get back to painting. Come on. If I lay you down in my lap, huh? Shh, shh, shh. You're fine. You're fine. Just stay right there, just like that. See, you're fine. No. Grim, my guy. All right, fine. Hang out on the washer. Go hang out on the washer. Grim, it's okay. See, he's freaking out right now. He seems to think the lid on the washer is not made out of glass, but it's a hole. Whew. All right. Back at it. Of course, more hair in the brush. Yeah. Let's see. Try and trim this out. Yep. But yeah, so right now I'm just trying to trace out some of these edges with edge highlight using Thunderhawk Blue. Really gives that sort of worn black paint appearance, sort of like paint chipping. That's kind of the whole idea here. Is just try and sell the idea that it's been worn, beat up, and abused. Like, it's battle armor. It's going to be all beat up and paint's not going to stay. Also, the armor passes from Space Marine to Space Marine over thousands of years. It's kind of a miracle it has any paint left, to be honest. Because I don't know about y'all, but I've yet to see any listings of home improvement shops in any 40K books that I've read. So it's not like they can just run out and buy a new rattle can of the stuff and touch up the armor. So let's see. Yeah. So what's everybody up to at the moment, huh? Seems like we're having some viewers dropping off. I kind of figure that as it gets late in Europe. Totally understandable. Figured I'd try and keep the conversation alive here. Let's see. Here we go. Hello, hello. Welcome to the Grey Pile live stream. I'm just chilling out painting. Not doing anything too extravagant this evening. Just working on a Space Marine. Trying some new interesting stuff. Using a white fluorescent panel liner. Draw out some of the details. Chinese chicken salad. Not sure how I feel about that one. Because all I imagine is like Kung Pao chicken on lettuce. Well, you have fun taking out the rubbish. And hope to see you shortly. Yes, Grim. Yes, no, I'm not mad at you. I'm painting. Yes, hi. I'm very happy to see you. Gotta sit down on the chair, Fuzzball. Yep. What? Yeah, I'm painting. I'm sorry. I swear, man. Let's see. Howdy, howdy. Welcome to the live stream. Don't be a stranger. Say hi and give me the opportunity to give you a shout out. Seems we keep getting a sixth member and then losing a sixth member and then gaining another sixth member. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and paint this vent on this side. So use the same trick I used last time on the previous live stream. I'm gonna go ahead and set this up so that then I catch all the little veins in the exhaust port. Let it dry, and then I'm going to flood it with a very, very watered down orange paint, which will give the impression of it being ignited. So, what are we wooing, Milwaukee? What are we wooing? Just wondering, just curious, because I was up and out of nowhere. Just want to make sure that I'm understanding the context. Now, for the chest, I'm probably going to try this. Take the bronze and some metallic medium. Not completely sold on that color, but it's not bad. So we're going to do that. And then, oh, that might actually look pretty good. So there's that. Just tracing out the wing. Now, it's okay if there's not total coverage at the moment because I actually plan to do an oil wash over the wings. Try and give it some depth and detail instead of just being a big old sheet of metal. You forgot? I forgot, to be honest. Yeah, it's okay. It happens to the best of us. All right. That's a chuckle I needed. Graham, will you choose to get in the chair or not, please? I don't need you running around making a mess down there, dude. For those of you unaware, Grim is my 16-pound Norwegian forest cat. And we've all heard the saying, curiosity killed the cat. Well, he's very much a curious cat. And sometimes I feel like common sense to him is just loose change and not anything even remotely close to survival instinct. Let's see here. So far I've been doing edge highlighting, a few other odds and ends, picking out some of the metallics. You know what? I want to try and put a little bit of green in with this bronze here and darken it up just a little bit more. Give it a slight oxidation color. Just a touch of black. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and do the bottom of this holster. Just like so. Let's see. So these exhaust ports are pretty much dry, which means I can go ahead and flood them with orange. Give them that glowing effect. So now I'm just trying to water down my paint. Just enough. So then when I do this, it'll flood into the little recesses and not completely hide the details. Just something that simple makes a Space Marine model look that much better. Just doing something as simple as that. Now suddenly, look at that. I mean, seriously, take a look at that. Huge difference. Huge difference. See? Huge difference. Compared to just simply that. I mean, come on. So, since we've done a lot of work on the main portion of that model, we're going to go ahead and start working on the shield arm of that model. So something I like to do is I'll take a base, I'll take just a little bit of blue tack, right? And that blue tack will hold the piece that I want to work on, like so. I don't have to re-glue it to the model. I can just start working on it just like this. And simplifies the process. So don't be afraid to take your handles and flip them around to get your access. Like, you see how I'm just constantly moving this thing around? It's totally fine. It's better that you move it around so you can find the best angle to paint from rather than fight with your brush the whole time trying to get into the surfaces that you want to paint. So I thought I was done with this, but I'm not. Now I can at least close this up. So here's that. Draw the brush to a decent point. And we're going to come back in and do our edge highlighting again. Just trying to get the outermost edge. It's okay if you get a bit of a splash because it's realistic. You're trying to go for battle damage as well and not just highlighting random stuff. I'm going to try and make it realistic. So now, here's the fun part. I call it fun. A lot of people say it's a nightmare. I'm going to try and trace that inner edge of the shield. That whole inner edge all the way around. Do edge highlighting. Yes, Grim. What's up, bud? All right. So I think I've only used this brush about 5 times. And we're going to see if I still have it. It's been a while since I've had to do ultra fine pin lining. What sucks is I can actually feel my heartbeat. Hey, KBA, welcome back. Welcome back. I can actually feel my heartbeat between my hands right now. That's how focused I am on trying to paint this edge. So, yeah. What size is this brush? It's a 3/0. So, or a 3/0. This is from the Foxbite 7 Deadly Sins paintbrush set. The one that I keep saying is fantastic. Like, they're Kolinsky Sable brushes, right? Now, everybody who knows anything about paintbrushes knows Kolinsky Sables is pretty much gold standard. Now, the beauty of it is these aren't priced astronomically. You get 7 brushes and the hard case for something like 65, 75 USD. It's not bad. It's not bad. You get 5 Kolinsky Sable detail brushes of varying widths. And you get 2 different dry brushes. And you get a travel case. Like, look at this thing. It's actually decent, right? So right now I've got one of the dry brushes out and 2 of the detail brushes. One of them's in my hand. The dry brush is here. And then my other detail brush is right here. And I find that synthetic brushes, like, yeah, you can take care of them, but they start getting that tip curl. And that's pretty much the death knell of a synthetic brush. And these, you don't get tip curl because they're natural hair. It's not plastic synthetics. This is actual sable hair. And they're really, really nice brushes. I really enjoy them. They paint nice. They clean easy. They're easy to maintain. I can't recommend them enough, to be honest. And if you're sick and tired of burning through synthetic brushes, I highly recommend this is the way to get out of that and start actually having like professional brushes without paying exorbitant prices. Because like I've seen Kolinsky Sables go individually for like 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks. Some of them even more than that. But I would seriously recommend these Foxbite Kolinsky Sables. You can find them on Amazon for, I think, less than 50, but you don't get the travel case. And I'll tell you, the travel case is like 90% of the reason to get them. Well, I take that back. It's more like 20%. 80% is the brush itself. But the travel case really comes in handy because it's actually reinforced. It's got a plastic sheet in here, so it protects your brushes as well. So, yeah, sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat. I was too busy focusing on this shield. I wasn't seeing the responses. But yeah, I wholeheartedly recommend these. If you want a good set of brushes, treat yourself. Get some Kolinsky Sables. It's like, don't get me wrong, I've got some synthetic brushes that are downright stupid sharp. Like, I don't know how well you can see that in the camera, but that makes this thing look like I'm painting with a baseball bat. And I still prefer the Kolinsky Sables over the synthetics, just because they're far more forgiving. So now I'm going to go ahead and trace the border of this shield on the interior side. yeah. Yeah, so I don't know how much longer I plan on staying on here because I still have to edit the video for tomorrow's publication. All honesty, the memory card is still in the camera up there. So I gotta dig it out and do my whole rigmarole and edit voiceover. Fortunately, I think this video that's going to be published tomorrow isn't that much raw video. So lately, most of my raw video is coming in at like 9 to 12 hours of raw video that I have to condense down. And it really makes it difficult for me to try and condense it down below 20 minutes. I've been averaging about 25, 27, I'd say, somewhere in there. And in all honesty, I feel like if I could condense it down a little bit better, that would work out great. I do want to try and figure out a better presentation method for it, because like I know a lot of guys like the DIY, and it seems like a lot more viewers these days are just interested in the casual stuff where it's like a little bit of chatter, mostly just background music and some painting, you know? And like I'm still trying to figure out exactly where I want to go. In all honesty, I think I'm going to stay with the DIY approach because I've had such great response from you guys saying you guys like the DIY and the explanations and stuff. But that's something I got to try and figure out. With the move coming up, when you start seeing like short 5-6 minute videos each week, just know that that's me moving. If you start seeing longer form videos popping up after that, that should be the cue that I've already kind of figured out where I'm setting up shop, and should give you an idea of me finally getting back into the full swing of things, you know. So this move is going to take quite a bit of time. Unfortunately, my stuff will arrive after I arrive, so there's going to be quite a bit of downtime. However, where I am moving to has an abundance of hobby stores. So, hypothetically, I could start acquiring and amassing some kits to build in the meantime, while I'm waiting for the cave to get there. And if I feel confident enough and comfortable enough with the materials that I have on hand, then I will probably proceed to start recording. So, oh yeah, the place I'm going to is like super hobby shops. Like one of my buddies went just last weekend, and he was blown away by the number of model kits this one shop had. I was like, yeah. He was kind of thinking it was going to be like Hobby Town, sort of like, yeah, they got model kits, maybe total store 250, 350 kits. No, he walks in there and he's like, holy crap, I think there's a couple thousand kits in here. And I'm like, yes, there are. He's like, holy cow. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be spoiled for choice when I get there. I'm not having to try and figure out what I can build. It's more like, what do I want to build? You know? And in all honesty, I'd love to get back into warship building. So I've done a couple of warships. If you've seen my model building a rant video, you've seen some of my warship projects. And in all honesty, I like them a lot because you can make them as basic or as complicated as you want. And I really enjoy kind of pushing the limits. So photo etch, homebrew illumination kits where I'm using like a variable voltage laptop charger, some speaker wire, some fiber optic line, and a couple of LEDs, and just making it work, do the math, plug it in, and if the house doesn't burn down, it's considered a win. So yeah, that's kind of the direction I'm going for my warship models moving forward. Is I will more than likely prioritize doing illuminations, because the illumination kits just they look so good, and you can do a homebrew kit for stupid cheap. Like really, you're spending most of the money is going individually on the variable voltage charger. Because if I may, I'm gonna go grab something to show you guys real quick. So you don't even need the variable voltage wall charger. So like for the diorama that I'm building for the Tiger tank, I got power supplies. Right? Let me move that over. There you go. 9-volt battery cases. Got some really thin wire. Got some framing wire. 2mm fiber optic line. This one makes sense a bit, but those are hard rods. Those are not the flexible photo etch line. For warships, I tend to use the flexible 1mm fiber optic line, which I have, but I don't really want to grab it because every time I do it on spools, it becomes a real mess here in the painting cave. But speaker wire works great for running your electrical lines. And then if you want to do the laptop style charger, get a couple of these. And because it's a variable volt charger, it comes with different barrel lines. So you just find the one that fits, plug that in, call it a day. If you want to run multiple colors, you can run a red line and a white line. You run a 3-way switch. Middle is off, left is white, right is red or blue or green or yellow or whatever color you want. And then we have 500 LEDs. I'm going to run out of model kits before I run out of LED bulbs. And in all honesty, 80% of what I just showed you was like $80, right? All together, this whole box of switches and everything else was probably $40. I think the whole box of LEDs was like 10. And then all you got to do is worry about your directional current, because it flows one way on an LED. They're direct volt or direct current. You can't do alternating current on them because they don't like that. So make sure you're running direct power supply, and always reference your LED schematics. So your LEDs will generally have one leg longer than the other, and if I remember correctly, the long leg is the negative. Don't quote me on that, But I want to say the long leg is the negative. The short leg's the positive. So you'll know if you got it wrong if the LED doesn't light up. Also, they're voltage sensitive. So you need to make sure that you're paying attention to the amount of volts you put through them. Because if not, you're going to have it go pop. And yeah, it's no longer a fun day because now you got to pop your model open to try and replace the LED, or you just say to hell with it, and it no longer lights up, and you've got wires sticking out of it, and you can say I had this cool kit that used to light up, but now it doesn't. So, but yeah, I guess that's my rant on illumination. But I primarily like building 1-350 warships, if anybody's wondering. The 1-350s are large enough that you can make out a lot of detail, but it's not so massive that you have to set aside like a corner of a room. I do have a 1/200 scale Yamato, and that thing's like 5 feet long. It's just short of 5 feet. And that's one of those, I'm going to get to it when I actually retire and settle down in some place, because I plan to pull out all the stops and really throw everything at that kit when it comes time to build it. And I want to try and make it obnoxiously detailed. Like I want that thing to be like the crown jewel in my model kits. But let's see. Oh, come on. Nice and easy. Yeah, that's going to be broad. Yeah, it's not that as bad as I was expecting. Right. Not there. Cool. So, yeah. Anybody got any questions? Anybody feel like gaming later? Because I may jump on some War Thunder later on this evening. Might be way later. It depends on how well video editing goes. Now, before anyone asks, I'm manually video editing. I'm not running it through AI or anything. So, like, every video you see, that's me actually spending probably 6 hours editing, and then 2 or 3 hours voicing over. Like, I know it seems pretty simple just to do a voiceover, but there's several times where I'm like, nah, I need to do a retake. I don't like the way my voice sounds, or yeah, I feel like I could say that a little bit better, you know. Excuse me. And in all honesty, it's just one of those like learning processes. And I guess as I become more comfortable recording and live streaming, I may be able to condense some of that process, some of the preparation time, and get it down to where it's like, oh, I'm not having to fight for 10, 12 hours just to try and get something that I think is presentable out to the viewers. But just want to make sure that I put a little bit more effort into it than Bethesda in their recent Fallout games. Too soon? So, let's see. So here I'm just tracing out the details of the cross on the shield here. And once I'm done tracing out the framework for the cross, I'm going to start pecking out this sunburst wreath halo that goes around the central cross, or central skull. Sorry. Let's see. Yeah, feel free to ask questions. Everyone's welcome here. Just chilling, painting a Space Marine. Let's see. All right, let's see. Quick check. Yeah, still looks pretty decent. All right. So here, I'll turn off the overhead for those of you who are unaware. And yeah. So hitting it with a black light helps pick out all these details, because I used a fluorescent white panel liner. And I also did it to the Space Marine. So it's the little touches. The little touches. So here we go. So now for the purity seals. Now my paint's a little too watered down at the moment, so it's not setting up the way I want. I need it to be little bit thicker, just like that. So it's okay if your paint's a little thin. Generally I would recommend that your paint be a bit thinner than thicker, simply because if it's too thick, you're on the risk of it clumping, especially white paints. The titanium powder that they use in white paint, it has a tendency to clump up and it gets all lumpy. It's sort of like pancake batter. It just sort of just clumps up. And so I would generally recommend that you water down and thin your white paints most of all, and just take multiple passes to paint it. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and come in here and touch this up, put a little bit more white paint on here, and clean off that bit that spilled over onto the kneecap. There we go. Good enough. And see, the exhaust looks nice and clean. Turned out pretty nice. It's not crazy looking. It's not overdone, but it's not hidden either. So let's go ahead and get this arm back on here. Yeah, that seems about right. So we're going to go ahead and grab some glue. Is that my empty one? That is my empty one. It's always handy to have empty glue containers until you need a full one. So we're going to let this soak in for a minute. You'll start to notice that it creates a bit of a slurry. That's generally when I want to introduce my my other piece, because this glue actually does, because it's an acetate, it'll actually weld the plastic together by melting the plastic chemically. So what I do is I usually take my two pieces and kind of rotate them back and forth a little bit, sort of similar to friction welding with metals, but just doing a little bit like that helps mix both surfaces together and creates a stronger bond, in my opinion. It's not proven by science or anything, but it's what makes me sleep better at night when I'm building. So let's go ahead and keep working on this guy. For the tabard, I want to do staining. Usually I use like Agrax Earthshade or Seraphim Sepia, but in all honesty, I feel like those are too dark, and because they're water-based, they coffee stain far too much. So I think we are going to experiment a little bit today. We are going to try Streak and Grime. And see how this works. Fingers crossed. Gives us the results that I'm hoping for. So I'm going to go ahead and dip the brush in. We're just going to put a couple of dots, right? Because we're going to streak this. Put a couple of dots in certain areas. A little bit more aggressively at the bottom. And then we're going to take some and put them right up here. Now this section up here, I'm actually going to chase out some of the shadows. And at the same time, I'm going to apply some here on the holster, because I have a feeling this is going to turn out really good for the holster. So the holster, I'm just going to drag this like so. You can see it's darkened up the whole holster. That's to be expected. It's kind of what I'm hoping for. And then I'm going to take some white spirits, clean the brush, and then come back in and hit these streaks, or spots that I want to streak, right? And unfortunately, the base is getting in the way for a lot of it. And it's something I should have taken into consideration, but it's kind of doing what I want it to do. It's definitely not coffee staining nearly as much Like, yeah, it's okay that it's pooling at the bottom a bit. It's kind of semi-realistic. But now we're going to come back in and we're going to do the same on the back. You can see how it's trying to run up sort of like a pin wash because it's engineered the same way. That's how it's designed to work. But we're going to go ahead and take the brush now that we've cleaned it off with mineral spirits a little bit. And we're going to chase out some of these high points on the holster. And we're going to try and trace around the flat and then some of these other spots. And you'll see it's starting to add some of that that shading and shadow that I'm going for. It's helping to pick out the recesses. So this is definitely my first try doing this to a Space Marine, and I'm not terribly upset with the results. In all honesty, I'm actually kind of impressed. In all honesty, I kind of expected it to just melt apart, and then I'd be sitting here twiddling my thumbs going, well, ba-deep, 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 that's all, folks. So I'm taking the W as I can, taking the win as I can. So now, come back in here. Don't want to have it pooling too aggressively, because then it won't look realistic. So there you go. There it is with the oil wash. And it's very faint. It's very faint, but it helps sell the idea that he's been running around and getting dirty. Now, generally, you would want to let this paint sit for an extended period of time. I'm talking hours, not just a couple seconds, but I found that you can push it by heating it up, specifically by using a blow dryer. You can get oil washes and oil-based paints to dry significantly faster by using heat. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't feel like deafening all of you with a blow dryer, but that's something to keep in mind, right? Something for you guys to think about if you guys want to try and get into oil-based painting and you want to try and expedite it. So, like, the wash that we did on the shoulders earlier is now dried. Like, I can touch this and I'm not getting any rub off. See, we're totally fine here. What I would recommend is if you do this, use a varnish, right? Highly recommend VMS varnish. This stuff is fantastic. Like, if it's good enough for Uncle Night Shift, it's good enough for freaking Hands of the Grey Pile. And blown away by its quality. I'm very used to acrylic-based varnishes being really tacky and kind of peeling up, sort of like chewing gum. This was done with VMS varnish to prep for oil wash, the weathering of the whitewash paint, and in all honesty, I gotta say this exceeded my expectations far and away. Like, I'm beyond happy with the results that I got on this, and I wouldn't be recommending something if I didn't think that it would be beneficial to y'all. So if if you're seriously considering getting any sort of varnish, I would recommend VMS. I've tried Vallejo. Vallejo's good. It's not terrible, but VMS is just gold standard, far and away. So, it's actually not that expensive either. So that whole bottle, I think, was like $20. Yes, Grim, stop, dude. That's my leg, not a scratching post. What? I know you want attention. I know. I'm happy that you want attention too. Right now, I'm just busy. So, but yeah, I should probably be calling it quits here in a minute. It's already 8. So I anticipate video editing taking until about midnight, maybe a little bit later. But I will probably be taking some breaks to play a round or two of War Thunder if any of y'all fancy partaking. And I will probably be jumping on the Discord voice chat for a good period of time while I'm video editing. Yes, Grim. Yes. I see you. Yes. But thank you. I'm going to have a very long night editing because I think I'm still going to do a few more things to the tank. The tank is very close to being done. I'm halfway tempted just to let it ride as it is and then touch up some of that stuff during the diorama construction, because a good chunk of what I want to try and do to the tank also ties in with the diorama construction, and so it may just wait until then. So I appreciate all of y'all for joining me this evening, and I hope to catch you guys in the next one. I will keep y'all posted. I may start doing a live stream every week. Big question mark and asterisk on that one. I can't guarantee that it'll be the same day of the week, simply because my schedule does not work that way, especially at the moment. So if I'm live streaming, it's probably going to be a spur of the moment, like, hey, I've got some downtime, or hey, I think it would be kind of fun to stream for an hour or two, maybe 4 at most. But yeah, I really appreciate y'all joining me this evening, and let me know what you guys want to see when I'm streaming. Leave a comment on here or on Discord, and I will do my best to meet your expectations and hopefully exceed your expectations. So thank you all, and I'm gonna call it. Y'all have a good one.